Hello and welcome to Top of Mind with Ann and Rachel. My name is Rachel Prophet and I'm a white woman with long red hair that's pulled back in a bun today. I am wearing my rose colored glasses and a gray t shirt, and I am not in my usual office, but there's some wood slats behind me. And I am a principal program manager here at Microsoft. Andy, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Ann Krupke. I'm a white woman with short brown hair that's in a bun today. I'm wearing a green sweater, um, and I'm coming from my new home office in this greater Seattle area. I am a product marketing manager at Microsoft. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Well, we've been on a little bit of a hiatus for a couple of weeks. We haven't graced the world with our presence. Um, so sorry about that, everyone. And I wasn't like, for me personally, I wasn't like super open about what was going on. But I had surgery well, it's been 4 weeks yesterday. So um, I'm just now back into the swing of things, feeling great. So it's good to be back.
That's awesome.
Um, what have you been up to for the last 4 weeks, Anne? What's top of mind?
Oh boy. You know, there's a couple things I actually I've been also super busy. I guess the spring is just like a really busy time, not surprisingly, but um, I have been there's some community stuff going on that I think we should highlight. One, um, Tech Fluent, which I think we've talked about before, but we can talk about again. Tech Fluent
Yeah.
has opened up their application process for their next round of grads. So for anybody who doesn't know, and I'll throw the link up in the chat as well. Tech Fluent is a nonprofit organization that is their mission is to help people from marginalized communities get careers in the Dynamics 365 and Power Platform space. So they're run by some MVPs in the channel, and they are just techfluent.org. Is there TechFluent? Let me look up the link. But they are like, I absolutely love their mission. I volunteer as a mentor, and this year I'm actually also sitting on the programming committee for their new finance and operations um, subtrack, because they were a bit more focused on power and CE, and they're bringing in more support for finance and operations. So I'm helping build some of the curriculum for that. And they previously they were able to do, a dozen or maybe 2 dozen candidates a cohort, but they announced, I think, late last year that they're partnering with Dynamics User Group. So I think this year they're going to be doing more like 100. So I am super excited that they're ready to start filling their next class. And I just think if you didn't know about TechFluent, I think you should check it out and see if there's ways that you can volunteer or get involved. I think it's a really amazing thing that they're doing, trying to bring talent from additional sources to make our industry a better one.
Absolutely. I had the opportunity to mentor one of the graduates last year while we were at User Group Summit North America. And it was a pleasure to like meet the graduates and get to network with them. But I had a short opportunity to kind of go on record with them and like record a little video that's just like, it is so easy to be a mentor. Like if you're a human, like a decent human, like you are qualified to be a mentor to one of these people. I think um just being able to share with these graduates your own experiences in coming up in the Dynamics 365 and Power Platform world, it's so easy to do, for one, but it's so meaningful and can have such a great impact on these graduates and helping them find their next job. So um,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed my experience as a mentor. I'm sure I'll do it again this year. But really awesome organization. So
So that's one thing that's top of mind for me. And then the other is that we're getting the gang together in Redmond in a few weeks, right? Of course, MVPs will know MVP Summit is happening in Redmond in a couple of weeks. But for everyone, there's still an opportunity to come together on the Friday, March 15th, after MVP Summit is over. We're hosting um, a Redmond Pacific Northwest user group meetup. So I'm really excited to go to my first user group event in the Pacific Northwest and hopefully connect with the local community and build something build it back. I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's super exciting. A little jealous that I can't be there, but it should be a really cool event, I think, for everyone that is there locally.
Anytime you make it to Redmond, Rachel, we'll just schedule a special meeting of the Redmond user group so we can make
Ca-
sure you get to meet everyone.
Count me in. Count me in. Um, I think I mean, obviously too, like conference season is among us. So we've got
Mhm.
Dynamics Con live
Yep.
coming up very soon here in Denver, in my hometown. So hopefully, you know, hopefully a lot of you are going to make the trek out to the Mile High City and see what it's all about to live on the Front Range and wake up every morning to a beautiful mountain view, and learn from a bunch of your peers. And then I'll be crossing the pond as well for Dynamics Mind, which
That's
is very
exciting.
exciting as well. So,
And don't forget about the Dynaway Connect, the EAM
oh,
conference. It's the first
yes.
year they're doing that. I'm really excited for them.
Yeah, I heard about that, and I remember I think it was you that told me about it, and I was like, it's a
Probably.
very cool kind of targeted event, I think, for you know, the kind of niche that they work in. So, I think if you're in that manufacturing space, I think definitely an event that you would want to go check out. Lots of opportunities to learn from industry experts.
Yeah, I think that Dynaway and people who kind of work in the asset management space, they come to the larger community events. Like they always have a summit session and I think they're coming to DynamicsCon this year, but you never really get past the introductory with asset management in a conference as large as that. So I think it's really exciting that they're kind of diving deeper, and it's an opportunity for maybe people with more of a specific background. Like you get a lot of finance people at the larger community events. You get a lot of like general operations people and
Hmm.
IT people, but maintenance people like not so much. So I think it's like an opportunity to bring a different persona in and really dive deep, especially when you think about the investments that have been done in the area. It's not just the Dynaway EAM products that Microsoft bought, but also the new mobile app. Dynaway has a mobile app of their own that is an ISV solution. We released sensor data intelligence last year, which allows you to use IoT data to drive preventive predictive maintenance. And there's maybe some more exciting things coming down the pipe. So I think like it's a really cool area that I not everybody makes the most of. So I'm really, really hopeful and excited for the conference for sure. You're on mute, Rachel.
Thanks. Sorry. Um, I think the other thing that's maybe top of mind, last time we um, had our top of mind, the release notes were about to go live, but it was like the following week. And we haven't really had a chance to talk about them and kind of go
Yeah.
through them, but they are out. We should put a link on screen for that. I don't know if you've got it handy, Anne, or I can pull it up, but
Well,
that's obviously a big deal.
there is don't forget about aka.ms/release planner.
Well, right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It,
we have this is the long form learn link where you can go and like look at the full document that covers everything. So that I will leave that up on the screen for a couple more seconds, but I'm also going to put up the short form link, which is much more it's useful because you can build a plan for yourself and come back to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I will say I am a big fan of the release planner, going out there and kind of check marking, the stuff that you're interested in, and being able to kind of watch as those features roll out over the next, wave. So
Yeah. Um, have you had a chance to go through the release plans? And do you have a new feature that you're excited for?
I haven't gone through it in a ton of detail just because I think one, being out for my surgery and like just now really getting back into the swing of things. But there are a couple things that I know that are in there that are definitely like super exciting, with some new features. And I think like it's kind of like the two really really big ticket items for business performance planning and business performing analytics, which we announced some of those things like at the end of the year. But I think like seeing the roadmap of what we're planning there is definitely exciting. But I personally need to spend some more time with it. I'd be curious to know like if you've got a favorite.
They're all my favorites. um, no,
I
I,
know,
I
like it's hard to pick, but
yeah. So there's I mean, we have to talk about Copilot. What kind of
yeah.
Microsoft employees would we be if we didn't get excited about Copilot capabilities? For supply chain, there's two kind of key things coming. There's additional capabilities in the existing procurement workspace. So adding the Copilot like sidecar experience to help prompt purchasers, like purchase managers or buyers, through the decision making of what do I do when a purchase order is delayed. So we had some things like summarizing the impact and um, categorizing and then like communicating with vendors. But now we're actually bringing the full Copilot experience to be able to say, here's a suggestion. How about an alternative part number, or how about a different vendor, or how about you do this? So like a lot more driving action based on insights from Copilot, which is, I think, really cool.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other place where Copilot is coming in the product is the demand planning capability. And I mean, you know
Mm,
me, I'm super
yeah.
biased to supply chain and commerce because those are the areas that I represent. But um, in demand planning, we went public preview in October, and I think we've talked about it multiple times here because it's just so cool. But for GA on April 1st, we are adding in even more just like general capabilities, um, support for new product phasing in. So how do you forecast demand for something you've never sold? So more support for that scenario, more control over who has access to what and can edit what, and some automation things, as well as like qualitative forecasting. So um, really exciting things, and I'm glad to see that we're continuing to invest in the product even after initial release, and the initial adoption has been like really strong. But we're getting Copilot in demand planning as well. So being able to ask questions about your forecast and understand the impact of factors other than just historical demand. So um, I'm really excited for that. We've been talking about it for a while now, and the feedback has seemed positive. I think when you think about something as complex as like statistical forecasting, often it's really hard for business users to get to the end result of meaningful insight. You need to either hire someone or have a degree in coding and statistics. And I think that the magic of this, the demand planning capabilities plus Copilot, is that you're making it accessible to like a way larger group of people, which is awesome. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm jazzed up about right now.
No, I love that. I think it's
Looks like we might be having some technical difficulties. I'm going to figure out if it's me or Rachel.
Oh, sorry. I
There
think
you
it was
are.
me.
Okay, I was like, is it me? Is it you? Is it the coffee shop
Apologies.
Wi-Fi?
Well, um, I was on my phone hotspot, which I have got, really good signal, but it decided to switch to the coffee shop Wi-Fi there momentarily. So I think that's
Okay.
what happened. Is it was trying to switch, and I was like, no, just stay on my hotspot. It was working fine.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I was saying that's what I'm excited about, and then you were gonna say
I
something
started
else.
to, yeah, I started to speak, and then and now I don't even remember what I was going to say.
um, I was just talking about how Copilot is basically like making things more available to business users, which I think is something you and I actually, of course, are both very passionate about, hence the business
Certainly.
process guides.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think a lot of exciting stuff going on my side with business process guides. Like we've kind of started some experiments with process mining to figure out how we can kind of at scale make process mining possible for every single business process with Dynamics 365. But we're really close on our functional specification for the replacement of the business process modeler inside of LCS. And
So will it
I
be in
know,
Power Platform Admin Center?
great question. I'm so glad you asked. The answer is yes and no. So
Okay.
one of the things that we are trying to be very mindful of as we kind of replace this is that we have different audiences. So there are certain components that are administrative tasks, like the actual wiring up to your Azure DevOps, instance is an admin task. And so we expect that that piece of it will land in Power Platform Admin Center. There are some portions that are very project focused, and we expect those to land in our Dynamics implementation portal. And then there are some portions of the functionality that don't really land in the admin role or the project kind of role. And they kind of live on with the customer in the customer's tenant. And so what we're looking at is likely it will be a model driven app that is built on a separate Dataverse environment. We've kind of coined it the PPAC Dataverse, but as a part of the LCS, um, you know, moving to PPAC, one of the things that they had to do was introduce a Dataverse to be able to like store all that information. And so this special Dataverse will come with every deployment, be in the customer's tenant, but it's more like, an F&O database where you can't access it directly.
Right.
And so I think that's where we're looking to like build this model driven app on this more secure Dataverse that we control, to bring the rest of that functionality to the end users, and things like that. But we do expect that the help experience and the task guide experience for like saving those in app inside of F&O will change, and we're trying to kind of figure out what does this mean for CE in terms of like LeapWorks and other, regression testing tools as well.
Mhm.
So I think one thing that's really key for us is that we want a solution that works across the board and not just for one versus the other.
Right.
But I think that's super exciting, and starting to kind of think about how we start wiring up some of these other downstream Copilot features and other things like that based off of what we're building like that foundation for right now. So
That's
also,
awesome. I had a
first draft of our like new mascot for Dynamics 365 for Credly badging. I'm getting the first draft this week, and I'm super excited, and I'm not going to tell anybody what it is, but it's way better than Ninja Cat.
Can you tell me
Also,
after this? Can
I
I just
can. I
Okay,
can
cool.
I can fill you in, but I'm not going to tell the world yet because I want it to be a big exciting announcement. But I can share this. The new mascot is being AI generated.
Wow.
So we're actually using AI to create the new mascot
Very
in
cool.
all of its different kind of poses and backgrounds and stuff like that. So super cool. I
So,
think it's only fitting though, right?
oh, of course. I I have a question about
Yeah.
Azure DevOps because you mentioned it briefly. So
Yeah.
I remember you were working on basically like an Azure DevOps template that
Mhm.
anybody could like use and do basically so that you're running your project tasks from a business process perspective, following them as Microsoft's laid them out. And is that available for use yet? And if so, how would somebody access it? And if not, when will it be available?
Great question. So there is a version that is available with the download of the business process catalog. It's aka.ms/business process catalog, spelled the English US way.
No UEs.
No UEs. So that is the link. And so when you go there, it takes you to the download center, the Microsoft Download Center, and there's two versions. The CSV file version is the version that you can import, and there's a link to like a Learn article that explains the step-by-steps that you need to do to be able to import it. Because there
Yeah.
are some like prerequisite steps you have to do inside of Azure DevOps. But what's even more exciting is we have a new version that's coming in March, and the new version is going to be enriched quite a bit because we've been working with ISD, which for those of you that don't know what ISD is, it's our industry solutions delivery team, which used to be MCS or Microsoft Consulting Services. It's the branch of Microsoft that like delivers Dynamics 365 projects. They're basically like another partner. And they have their own Azure DevOps template that ours is based off of, but we are adding in configuration work items. So basically, every single configuration in Dynamics 365 will have a work item in the new template.
That's amazing.
Also, like, yeah, that is amazing. And then also, we are adding in test cases, like actual test cases. So we have several hundred test cases in our current template that ISD uses. So we will be publishing those along with a handful of other metadata fields and like descriptions and things like that that go along with the existing business processes. So they've basically done this like full mapping of their catalog to our mapping, and we're pulling all of their goodness in
That's
to our
amazing.
template. Like it's going to be a big deal.
So I have a then like that like that's gonna change the way I don't know, it's gonna help. I think it's gonna help people a lot. So, what about like if there are projects kicking off that want to
Mhm.
leverage that? Is there like a pilot program for early adopters to give feedback on it? Like basically, hey, start your project with this Azure DevOps template, whether it's a Microsoft project or another partner in the channel, and like
Yep.
give us the feedback as you use it to help us understand what's missing or what could be done better or what's going well. Like,
Yep.
do you have any forums for early adopters?
We don't have like a Yammer group or, a Viva Engage group or anything like that, but we do have a partner advisory board and a customer advisory board.
Hmm.
And so if there are partners out there that are interested in joining, our first meeting is going to be in April. And so if you're interested, I think, right, just reach out to me. And if you're willing to try this thing out and use it and give us the feedback, we'll definitely help handhold you through that process and kind of give you that white glove service, if you will, to get started. But to your point, like maybe, I mean, if people want a Yammer group or something like that, we could certainly look to create something. But we also have the GitHub repository, where people can provide feedback as well.
Yeah, I think that it's like the online forums or even like meetings like the advisory boards, just the opportunity
Hmm.
to have the connection while you're giving feedback. I think for a
Yeah.
lot of people that's
Yeah.
more. I really struggle to use GitHub, to be honest, and I don't know why that is, but like it's just like no, I like Dynamics and that's it. No.
No, I've had to learn a lot about GitHub in the last, 6 months to a year just to like make some of this possible. But because everything we're doing is built on GitHub, I've kind of just had to force myself to learn it. But we've tried to make it as easy as possible. And if you're not sure how like to provide us feedback, part 4 and part 5 of our Tech Talk series, I actually do a demo of it.
That's
And
awesome.
so we made an AKA link for people to get to all of our Tech Talks. It's super easy. It's aka.ms/business process tech talks. And so that will take you to the landing page. I'm working on updating that page right now because we have 2 more parts that we're adding to the series that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. And then we have the 15 end-to-end business processes, which will all have Tech Talks as well. And so that like Tech Talk page will kind of become the landing page for getting to all of those Tech Talk videos to try to make it easy for people to find them. But we're also publishing them out into the Guidance Hub as well. So
Very cool. Awesome. I hate to say it, Rachel, but I think we might have to stop short of half an hour today because I have a meeting starting
yeah,
in 1 minute. But it was really nice to
same.
be back. I think
Yeah.
I think we need to work on times, maybe doing something not at 6 a.m. my time, which is
Yes.
that's on me. But as always, it's been a pleasure getting to catch up with you and talk about what's top of mind. For everybody who tuned in today, thank you so much for catching up with us. And if you have any topics you'd like us to discuss or people you'd like us to interview, let us know in the comments or reach out to us.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you next time on Top of Mind with Ann and Rachel. Bye, everyone.